What's up everybody? Big Tex here, back with another video. Someone a while back sent me a message saying they were hoping for an update to my Big Tex Borders brush pack, so I decided to make another brush set with 30 more borders to spice up your flash pages. I also made this page to illustrate what you can do with them and to show you some more painting techniques and brushes I like to use that I haven't touched on in my previous videos. Once you're done watching, check out the links below to grab my brush set and all of the other tools I used in this video. Alright, so let's check out this page. With this one, I was going for a more ornamental kind of look where I only have 3 images on the page, but a lot of borders and framing to make the page feel interesting and full. Let's start by laying out our page and put everything where it needs to go before we draw our images in the middle. So for this background, I'm going to be using my new border pack, and it's got a lot of cool stuff in it. It's got some brick borders, spider webs, this cool one with the hearts in the background, chains, and a lot of cool other stuff. For this page, I used border number 12, which is my spider web with the square in the middle. All we have to do is stamp that on the page, go to our selection tool, and then click Fit to Canvas, and it's going to perfectly stretch it to our page. I made these borders with an 11 by 14 sheet of paper in mind, but you can adjust them to whatever size works for you. Now for the inside part, I actually used this frames brush set from Sober Joe, who's an awesome flash painter on YouTube. He has a similar pack of different shapes and individual elements like ovals and squares and checkerboards that I use all the time. From his pack, I use this frame number 11. So let's stamp that down in the middle. Let's go, and we're just gonna erase the little signature because it's gonna help us center it perfectly. We'll click our selection tool, turn on snapping, and let's center this to the middle of our sheet. We're gonna get these yellow lines that are gonna pop up that are gonna tell us we're dead center. Alright, so our page is starting to come together. I'm going to speed past my sketching just for the sake of this video. If you want to see that, check out some of my other videos, but since that's not really what this one is about, let's speed past it and we'll end up with something like this. Alright, so now that we have our page laid out, we have this cool border using my new Big Tex Borders brush pack, volume 2, and the Sober Joe frames pack. Let's get to the interesting part. I ended up lining this page a little differently than I usually do. To line it, I used this Loteria pack from Retro Supply Co. This set is focused towards making Loteria cards, which are usually watercolor illustrations, and since we do our tattoo flash mostly with watercolor, we can apply a lot of these brushes to our flash. I'm going to start by selecting this classic pen, and let's see what that looks like when we trace some of our flash. I love using this pen because it's sort of rough around the edges and a little more chunky, and it reminds me of using like a speedball nib on rough watercolor paper. It's just got this real cool character to it that I really like. So in addition to my outline being a little more textured and rough, I also want my spit shading to have a little bit of a looser feel. For that, I'm gonna go to this rusty nib brush set. It's from True Grit Texture Supply, and I'm going to use this watery brush number 4 rough. This brush is a little more loose and textured, as you can see, and I think it goes really good with that classic pen brush that I outlined this with. Then I'm going to go to my smudge tool. I'm going to go to the spit shade set from Tattoo Smart, which I've talked about a bunch of my other videos. Go check those out. And I'm going to select this clumpy blend, and that's going to be my smudge. So what that looks like is if I lay down a little bit of this rough brush and I use that, it's a little bit looser. It can really draw your ink out. It has a lot of variation with the pressure as I go harder and softer, and it's just a little bit of a looser feel. It's kind of like using a really wet watercolor brush that really allows you to pull that ink in a bunch of different directions. So let's add some spit shades to our outline. After I line everything on my sheet and add all of my spit shade fades, I'm gonna end up with something like this. I did the same thing as I did in my other video about my first Borders pack, where I outlined that stamp with my actual classic pen by hand so that everything has a nice hand-drawn feel. It all goes together and has the same texture and character as my flash pieces there in the middle. Now for the final touch, I'm going to use another brush from True Grit. It's from their Lithotone pack, and it's this pattern called Sprinkles. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my lines layer and I'm going to select that and I'm going to click reference. So it'll say reference underneath there. Now my lines layer is going to be the reference for my selection tool. So I can go to my automatic selection, select this, it'll just select this background piece. Then I can go to a new layer and I can draw in my sprinkles and nothing is going to go outside of that selection. So this is a really quick and easy way to fill in a certain section with a pattern, but still have it on another layer so that you can go back and edit it however you want. And with my shading in there, I get something like this, my fully finished flash page. I hope this video gave you some new tools to use, some new ideas. If you're interested and you want to pick up my new border pack, volume 2, go check out the links below and head to my website and pick it up. I also have prints of this flash sheet and some others you can buy to hang up on your wall, as well as my other Procreate brush sets. I'll also put links below to all the other tools I use from True Grit, Tattoo Smart, Retro Supply Co, and everything else. And most of all, I hope this video just gave you some ideas on how to get creative with your next flash sheet. Thanks for watching.